Shabbat shalom, everybody. I have a pre-Torah talk announcement regarding bagels. And we are happy, I'm happy to say that we have bagels today. As a result, I think, of Jen Mendelson, who went and picked them up because of the problem with Bialys. Their bagel machine is kaput. That's the way it was put to me. And I don't know what the future will hold, but we will have bagels next week, one way or the other. And I also want to recognize the person who has been directly responsible for bagels every week for at least the last 5 or 10 years, and it's Joan Levy. So there was a little glitch in taking over between May and July, and we need someone to pick up bagels June 20th, June 27th, and July 11th. Please write your name and phone number down if you are available to pick up bagels. And I will write my name down. I will call you and remind you on Thursday before the Saturday that you are scheduled to pick them up. Answer any questions, explain anything that needs to be explained, update you on what the Bialys situation is if I know it. And then we will be sure to have bagels every single week. So I'm going to send this around now, and thank you for your participation. Very official, very serious.
Thank you, Candy. We appreciate you doing the important work of feeding us. Famously in Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our ancestors, it says, Ein kemach, ein Torah. Ein Torah, ein kemach. Without sustenance, food, you can't have Torah. And without Torah, you cannot have sustenance. So, you got to do a little bit of both. So, food, that there's a balance. There's a balance, the mundane and the not so mundane. So, Great to see everybody. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. What a joy it is to be able to celebrate and Shabbat together in so many ways, whether it's through worship or it's through study. And study is one of my most favorite ways to connect with my Judaism, but which we can do beyond Shabbat, but particularly on Shabbat. It's really special to do that. And so this week we have a great parsha, which the rabbi always likes to say. Every parsha is great. This one is really great. Okay, so this week's parsha is Shlach Lecha. Okay, sometimes it's called Shlach Lecha, and sometimes it's just called, for short, Shlach. It really is. I'm not kidding. So if you're in certain circles of what's next week's parsha, Shlach. It's just Shlach, not Shlach rock, so, Shlach. But it's hard to say. Shin Lamed Chet. And so what does Shlach mean? Oh my God! Thank you, Jackie. When I used to teach on Wednesdays regularly a fair amount, we had one person in the class, Archie Burke, who would dutifully always remind me. So thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Thank you, Jackie. What does Shlach mean? Shlach. Oh, right. Shvach. Sometimes you hear shvach. But Shlach, a little different. Viv. Send. Okay. Anybody else know of words that are connected to Shlach that you might have heard? Okay. Purim. What is one of the mitzvahs of Purim? Shalach manos or mishloach manot, right? Which is the sending of gifts, which is one of the 4 mitzvot, the 4 sacred obligations of Purim. So mishloach manot, you're not just a sender. It's not a transactional thing. To be to engage with the word shlach is more than just sending. You are a messenger. You are an emissary. Shaliach. Have you ever heard of a shaliach? Raise your hand if you're a shaliach. All right, shaliach. When certain folks come from Israel to work with the Jewish communities in town, you are a shaliach. You are a messenger. You are an emissary. The shaliach in that case is coming from Israel, right? They're bringing something from Israel to the community. Okay, so shaliach, mishloach manot, shaliach. Here's another one. The word for prayer leader, shaliach tzibor. This is a kind of a public prayer leader, but it really is a public messenger. Someone who says the prayers with the community and for the community. There are certain things that someone who's leading a service, a Jewish person who's leading a service, can do on behalf of the whole community. In fact, if I want to say Kiddush on Friday night, and I have a room full of people, and I'm holding the Kiddush cup, as long as I have you in mind, I can be a shaliach for you. I can be an emissary, a messenger for you, and I can say the blessing on your behalf. And when you say amen, we have fulfilled the mitzvah. You can drink from the wine without having to say borei pri hagafen. All right, so we've got mishloach manot, we've got shaliach, from Israel, often it's called the shaliach. We have a shaliach tzibor, which kind of is a prayer leader, an emissary really from the Most High, an emissary from God. So all of these concepts are connected to not just sending, but you are responsible for something greater than yourselves. One more connection with shaliach. Shaliach mitzvah. A shaliach mitzvah sounds just like what it is. What would shaliach mitzvah, how would you translate that? Go ahead, yeah. Sent to do a good deed, perfect. What else, Lou? What were you going to say? Yeah, so, have you ever, if you've gone to Israel, have you ever had somebody give you money when you go to Israel? Okay, I have. By the way, it's sort of a niche thing in certain circles. By the way, if you ever know someone who's going to Israel, give them some money. They give it to a charity. But there's a second purpose to be a shaliach mitzvah. It's called a shaliach mitzvah. You are an emissary of a mitzvah. When someone gives me money to go to Israel, they put it in an envelope. Here. By the way, it's a code. You don't even have to say it. In some communities, I'm leaving for Israel tomorrow. People will put a $5 bill in my hand. And I'll say, I'm not needy. I don't need, you know what it means. So it's not just about delivering the tzedakah. It's about being an emissary. The thought is that if I get on the plane, it's not just Josh Caruso getting on the plane. It's Josh Caruso who is on a mission, a holy mission. Not going to quote Blues Brothers. We're on a holy mission to deliver that money. And maybe God is going to take care of me and be more mindful of that trip and guard me and shelter me because I'm a shaliach mitzvah. So, it's a pretty important thing to be a shaliach. So when we say shlach lecha in our Torah portion, now that you know, and what this Torah portion is famously about these scouts, they are shlichim. They are emissaries. What are they shlichim for? What are they scouting out? Remember these 12 scouts go out?
A place to live.
They're going
Promised land.
They're going to scout out the land. And famously, right, 10 come back with one report, 2 come back with another report. So let's get to the text and kind of jump in a little bit. But we're going to be talking about being an emissary and what that means, what it means to be a holy messenger. We do it all the time. It's part of our lives, right? We represent something bigger in our lives. For a parent, we represent something bigger. We represent our family, our children. If we're in a position of authority, we represent a greater institution perhaps, okay? If we are a teacher, we are a shaliach for the students we teach. It goes beyond just myself, ourselves. We are on a mission that is greater than the sum of its parts, and that happens a lot. You can be in any walk of life, and you could be a shaliach. You could be an emissary. The royal we, in some ways. So let's look at the text. I've given you handouts. You're free to look at it. You're free not to. For those on stream, apologies. I don't have it in front of you, but we'll try to sort of move through it so you can follow along. But I do have a text that I just like to follow. It's 7 pages. Please don't get intimidated by that many pages. It's just something to refer to. More interesting and rich is the conversations we can have together. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this particular event. The first portion. Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Pretty common. We hear that a lot in the Torah, right? God spoke to Moses saying, Shlach lecha anashim. Shlach lecha. What does that sound like to you from another portion? Shlach lecha. Lech lecha. What does lech lecha mean? Go for yourself, right? Lech lecha, kind of, it's not just a going, it's going for yourself. So shlach lecha. Lech lecha, go for yourself. Shlach lecha. What could that mean? Send for yourself. Send yourself. Okay? Shlach lecha la'anashim. Anashim. God spoke to Moses saying, send agents to scout the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelite people. Send someone from each of their ancestral tribes, each one a chieftain among them. So Moses, by God's command, sent them out from the wilderness of Paran, all of them being men of consequence, leaders of the Israelites. Anything that comes from this first paragraph that you're gleaning so far, what do we see? Go ahead, Arthur.
One thing I hadn't noticed before is that in other sending outs, no one spies. In other words, Lechlecha, there's no group going ahead of Abraham checking out the destination.
Yeah.
The Red Sea, no one scouts for the Red Sea to see the escape route. If they had, they would have come back and said, we can't cross the sea.
Right.
So this I hadn't noticed before, but this really stands out as an odd thing. God promised at Sinai to give us the land. So why even have the scout?
Wow. Okay. So I know I didn't hand this out beforehand, but how did you predict this? Okay. So, Arthur is referring to the fact, right, that they're going to scout the land, but didn't it happen even in the book of Exodus? If you look, chapter 3, great chapter 3, the burning bush in Exodus, God says to Moses, I'm going to take you to a land. It's going to be filled with milk and honey. Why in the world do these scouts have to go at all? I mean, it's a lovely story. I mean, it's not a lovely story because 10 come back with a bad report. But it's a great story, right? Because there's so much homiletically we can connect with this, so many teachings about this story of the scouts. And in some ways, Arthur, even though God did tell them this would be the land, it would be okay, there's something inspirational about going to a land and trying to figure it out and trying to find it. Maybe Abraham maybe he could have predicted some of the wars that were going to happen after he left his home. Could it be a good thing to do a little reconnoiter, approach? Maybe. Let's look at the Rabbi Hochstein, who has a little bit of a comment here. The entire journey is described in the singular. This is still page 1. As the response to the needs of a single person. The Hebrew, if you follow Hebrew, it says, ish echad, okay? It's just that this sending, Vayoturu et aretz Canaan, asher ani noten livnei Yisrael, this land that I'm giving to the people of Israel, ish echad. I'm going to send someone from each ancestral tribe. Echad, meaning one, person by person. Rabbi Hochstein says, the entire journey is described in the singular as a response to the needs of a single person. Moshe says, send for yourself. And the story, in fact, continues. Moshe sent them. The spies are not sent off with any formal ceremony or wishes for a safe journey. The spies' departure has no communal dimension. They're just going on their own. They're taking this trip. They're going to scout out the land. And ostensibly, this is God who's telling them to do this. All right. So I wanted to just, getting back to this Hoshaliach mitzvah, a little derech agav, as we like to say in Hebrew, a little side note here. If you go to this mitzvah of the scouts, maybe they feel a sense of great obligation, sacred obligation, because it says, send you these men that may scout out the land. And look at the halacha. It says when you're a shaliach mitzvah, when you're someone who goes on a trip and you're obligated and you're like an emissary, whatever trip that is, the rabbis say, may one set out on the Mediterranean Sea 3 days prior to Shabbat? Why would the question come up? Right? They're going to break the Shabbos. Our rabbis taught one may not set out on a ship in the Mediterranean Sea 3 days prior to Shabbat when he is going to a distant place. Only Judaism. Right? But this is regarding one who sets out for an optional matter. However, one who sets out for a matter of mitzvah, it is permitted for him to set out any day he wishes. That the mitzvah supersedes Shabbat. Okay? So maybe, just maybe, these shlichim, these scouts, are feeling a great sense of import, right? That there's a profound mission that they are on, and that they are scouting for the greater community, although it just says one by one. So, check this out. We start with the book of Numbers, our Torah portion, where God bless you, where God says, that worked out perfectly, where God said, God bless you, where God spoke to Moses saying, send agents, right? God says this to Moses. Look in Deuteronomy, friends, the next page. This is Torah. This is not a midrash. Then all of you came to me and said, let us send agents ahead to reconnoiter the land for us and bring back word on the route we shall follow and the cities we shall come to. I approved of the plan. And so I selected 12 of you, one representative from each tribe. What is the difference between our Numbers passage and Deuteronomy passage?
Well, God says send scouts in numbers.
Yep.
And in Deuteronomy, it's the people say send scouts.
So what is going on here? Shouldn't the Torah be unified? Shouldn't there be consistency? We find, right, lots of bits of the Torah in different parts are not a carbon copy of what was we read earlier. So we are actually seeing two different accounts of who sent the spies. Look what Rashi says. Send thee. Okay, send for yourself. Rashi says, according to your own judgment, I do not command you, but if you wish to do so, send them. Kind of speaking to Moses. God said this because the Israelites came to Moses and said, we will send men before us, okay? Aligning with this Deuteronomy text. And you approached me, all of you, saying, we will send men. All right? This is a human initiative. This is a scouting initiative. These are people who made a decision on their own to take a trip. And you approached me, all of you, and Moses took counsel with the Shekhinah, with God, whereupon God said to them, I have told them long ago, Arthur, that the land is good. I will bring you up out of the land of Egypt, a land of flowing with milk and honey, by their lives. I swear that I will give them now an opportunity to fall in error through the statements of the spies so that they should not come into possession of the land. Whoa. All right, what's Rashi saying here? Unpack it. No right answers. Just keep going. Let's talk. Sonia.
I think it's like the people took it upon themselves to almost not trusting that this land was going to be good, and so they decided that they wanted to go and scout the land, and God was kind of like, if they want to go and screw it up themselves, let them.
Right. Right. This is not my monkeys, not my circus or whatever. You do whatever you want to do, guys. But yeah. And tell me, this is great. Absolutely, Sonia. Tell me a little. It could be you or anybody else. Tell me what God. Remember, we have a lot of anthropomorphism here. Okay, so these are. Human beings who wrote the Torah. I know. Can send me down to purgatory. But human beings, I believe, who are divinely inspired by God to write this. How are they depicting God here? What is God's kind of feelings about this moment?
It's plausible deniability. The CIA didn't send you to spy in Russia. It was You decided to do it all on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't send you here. Yeah, absolutely. And so part of God is like, listen, this is not my doing. What does it also speak about God? What does it also say about God?
I think there's some indication that God doesn't understand human nature. Because I think you've had people who are in captivity for all those hundreds of years and now they're stuck in the desert
Yeah,
and they've had all their social structure turned upside down and they're anxious and they're scared. And to me that's just a natural reaction. And they want to know what's coming. And for God to be that harsh,
yeah.
to me it has an indication that God created humans, but he doesn't really understand humans.
Doesn't understand. And it's interesting, right? If you go by my belief, my heresy, that God did not write the Torah, okay, these are people who are depicting a God like who doesn't understand them. Right? It's kind of an interesting little thing here, right? Couldn't they have depicted a God that was more understanding of who they're? What does that say about the authors of the Torah? They're talking about a God that actually doesn't know them. You know, what does that suggest? More rhetorical, but something to think about. Go ahead.
Well, maybe God feels I gotta teach them lessons, and this is an opportunity.
Yeah, say more about what's the lesson here?
The lesson is that you don't need to send me spies because I told you to be faithful to Abraham.
Right, is this tough love? This is a tough love moment. And Larry, like, we've been here before, right? We've been here with the flood. We've been here with the golden calf. And yet, this is the stubbing of the toe over and over again of God not understanding God's people.
No, I think it's the opposite.
Okay, bring it on.
God understands the way a parent understands a child. You know darn well you're going to tell him not to do it, but he's going to go do it.
They're going to do it. Got it. So you think that actually it's less about God not understanding God's people, but it's God truly trying to be a pedagogic parent, trying to have them go through these problems, these challenges, and maybe they'll learn.
Well, that's almost coincidental. The parent knows.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The child's going to go do it no matter what you do.
They're gonna learn a lesson or they're not.
So it doesn't matter if I assume he's going to learn anything.
Right.
He's going to do it.
Right. But the question is like, when does the parent adjust behavior? And by the way,
If it's the kid's safety, yeah.
right. Okay.
But if it's something that's, okay, it's going to put a little bump in the road, let it go.
Lou.
These are the same, the two levels I see. One is that these are the same people, last chapter was saying, oh, things were much better in Egypt. I could eat fish, I could eat
Yeah.
I had all these things.
We just had that portion.
Now you're saying that this is a promised land and,
Yeah.
maybe it will, maybe it be, maybe it's more mana or whatever. Who knows? It's like, they're doubting.
Yeah.
They're doubting Moses, they're doubting everything again. So that I see that's one level
Yeah.
of the understanding. And if you think about it in terms of writing the thing, is this do they suppose this was written before the Babylonian or after Babylonian? The Torah was this part of the Torah was written.
Yeah. I mean, you're.
Because if it's after, then you could say, where have they led us? Where has God led us?
Yeah, right. They're using their present circumstances.
So, so there's, reason to doubt, what's going on,
Right. Go ahead, Sonia.
I also think that this is partly a demonstrative of the separation between the divine and mankind, and that if he was so human-like, then there would not be enough separation for to build upon faith and religion.
Sure. Oh, that's great. And like, yeah, and it could just be we don't understand the way the world works, and maybe there's some method to the madness. Maybe God knows something that we don't know. But yeah, there's a disconnect here. Let's keep going. If you look at my page 3, and again, you can follow along in your Tanakh if you want as well. I just isolated certain texts. So Numbers 13. At the end of 40 days, they returned from scouting the land, and they went straight to Moses and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the wilderness of Paran, and they made their report to the whole community. They showed them the fruit of the land. One of the things we learn is they're no longer singular entities that are moving into the land. They're actually coming back and they're reporting to the whole community. This is one of those moments where the community starts to form, right? Individuals go out to the land, but they see themselves as emissaries of something greater. They come back and they tell the story. And I don't remember the story. I don't have it specifically in here. What's the story? Do you remember what actually happens? Well, we can actually, let's look at it. I kind of have it quoted here in Numbers 13. Again, bottom of page 3. Caleb hushed the people before Moses and said, "Let us by all means go up, and we shall gain possession of it, for we shall surely overcome it." But the other men who had gone up with him, and Joshua, said, "We cannot attack the people, for it is stronger than we." Thus they spread calumnies. Anybody know what calumnies means? Yeah, slander, lies against God. Among the Israelites about the land they had scouted, saying, "The country that we traversed and scouted is one that devours its settlers. All the people that we saw in it are of astonishingly great size. We saw the Nephilim there." By the way, Nephilim, this is when you have a word that's not translatable, so they just put it in English. Nephilim. Yes? Giants, right? That we don't actually know who they were, but maybe they were a result of humans and godlike, figures actually like consummating, right? They kind of represent giants. The Anakim, B'nai Anak, are part of the Nephilim. Anakim, for those of you familiar with Star Wars, Anakin Skywalker, George Lucas saw this Anakim, Anakites, and he used it in his movie. And so Anakin Skywalker is a giant, Anakin. He took it from the Bible. He's got a bunch of connections to the Bible, including Endor and... All right. We saw the Nephilim there. We saw Darth Vader as part of the Nephilim, and we look like grasshoppers to ourselves. And so we must have looked to them. This little expedition is getting complicated. Okay. There is a disconnect between what Caleb and Joshua see and what the other 10 see. And yet they have seen the same thing. How can that be? How can that be? Larry?
It's the lens, how you look at it. They may have more a lens of, we have God on our side, do this. Whereas the others thinking like, maybe we're not as faithful, and this doesn't look good.
Yeah. It's all in what you bring to a moment. You are all here today. You're bringing different pieces to the table, literally and figuratively, of your lives, of your experiences, of the fabric that makes up who you are. That means you are looking at me, each one of you differently. Some of you are focusing on my jacket. Some of you are focusing on my gesticulations with my hands. Some of you are maybe thinking about my voice volume. And then I know you're all going deeper than that too. But it's all part of the package, right? How we view, and by the way, the same thing, I'm viewing your comments through a certain lens, right? Just because of maybe what I know about you, what I don't know about you. And so when we take the text is inert, it's there, but we breathe life into the text, and we bring everything about ourselves into how we read it. So each one of us, so you can say, how, what? I didn't see, no way. Where do you see that? Where do you see that? So, yeah, it's all lens. Go ahead.
I feel like this kind of goes back to what Sonia was saying, because the people are demeaning themselves by saying they're not just like grasshoppers to the Nephilim, they're grasshoppers to themselves.
Yeah.
Almost like the other group of people is supernatural and they're ordinary in comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Who am I? You know, it's like, what are they bringing to that moment? How are their anxieties feeding into this moment? Arthur.
So I love this verse of the grasshopper. So you think about it, you think the golden calf would be a bigger sin than seeing yourself as a grasshopper. But it doesn't say that the generation of the golden calf is condemned not to enter the land. It says the group that saw themselves. And the people didn't say they were grasshoppers. They believed the people who thought they were grasshoppers.
Yeah.
But that is such a monumental error. That's the one that condemns the whole generation of death in the desert. And it makes me think that what it's saying is we are helpless if we make ourselves helpless. There's nothing we can do to fulfill our destiny if we strip ourselves of all our powers. That's almost the ultimate sin, because then you can do nothing. Then nothing happens.
Right.
It's worse to do nothing almost than to do the wrong thing.
It's right. It's like if you're a sports fan, right? You can't take a third strike looking.
No.
You have to take a swing.
Even if it ends the game.
You have to take a swing. So,
That's right.
so people are like, I'm not a sports person. Don't give me sports analogies. Okay, so think about this too. Okay, 1 second. Think about this. We're looking through our own lens, and yet these scouts are shlichim. They are emissaries. They are not only going for themselves, they're going for the greater community. When they go and scout out the land, they need to be thinking about the greater good. So how, it's like Supreme Court justices, right? How do you make decisions for the greater good when you are driven, so driven in the fiber of your being, knowing that this is antithetical to everything you believe our country stands for, and yet try to be impartial? It's impossible. It's impossible. And yet you have to sort of suspend your own needs at that moment.
So there's two issues. One is how we perceive they look to us as well, as if they could look into the minds of the Nephilim and say, well, this is how they saw us as well, the last sentence. So it's like a double whammy here in terms of the emotional perception.
Right, absolutely. And it is interesting, right? They're perceiving what they think the other feels about them, or views them, not, like this is what you're saying, not really knowing, truly.
Yeah, how can I know what you're thinking?
You can't, and yet, you know, sort of, we try to meet each other in a place where we know each other better, right? We grow our relationship with one another, not just me, with each other, right? We grow our relationship, so we try to understand one another. So I give a sermon, people come up with different ideas about what that sermon meant, which I think is the best sermons, by the way, right? And yet I think this is what he was saying, and I think that was what he was saying. So, and yet, after a while, if we learn about each other enough, maybe we start to get closer to that understanding. Maybe, just maybe. Yeah. Viv.
So, I'm looking at what God says in the beginning,
Yeah.
right, which is, I told you this land was good,
Yeah.
but you know, if you really have to see for yourself, go see. And the people who saw, some of them believed what God had told them, and some of them didn't.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who didn't said, we're not going there. And the ones who did say, God told us it was good, God told us he was going to give it to us, let's go do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so fascinating. Go ahead, David.
So I read this story a little bit differently. If Moses had come to me and said, okay, you're one of the people who are going to go scout out the land, I would go, and being the kind of person I am, I would think, oy vey, I don't want to fight these people. I would say exactly what these spies said.
Mm.
Okay, but the point is that the spies are the chieftains of the tribes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking about this from a military point of view, if the chieftain doesn't have the guts to wage this war, don't go.
Yeah.
Not a good idea to do it at all. And so this was really sort of checking out, are the people ready to actually fight to win the land? And the answer clearly was no. And notice that Joshua, who was the exception, or Joshua and Caleb, were the exceptions, Joshua is the one who ends up leading the people when we actually go into the promised land.
Yeah.
Because Joshua has what it takes to be a military leader.
Yep. And that's the words that when we hear, I know you know these, Viv, David, chazak v'amatz, we say, right? Strength and courage, right? Chizku v'imsu, strength and courage. That comes from Joshua. That's his, like, when he goes into he's described as someone who is filled with courage and strength. And when he goes into the book of Joshua, it is all about that. Chazak v'amatz is ascribed, to him.
That's what Moses says to him.
Yes, exactly. Like it's ascribed to him. Go. So there is a sense of courage and strength that needs to be summoned by the whole community. That's not. Now we are in a groupthink mode. They're now community. Now it gets sticky, right? They're like, wait a minute, maybe we do have some power here. So look at the top of page 4. If you're looking in your book, it's Numbers 14. Vatisa kol ha'edah vayitnu et kolam. The whole community broke into loud cries. Okay? The whole community rose up, really. Tisa kol ha'edah vayitnu et kolam. Broke into loud cries, and the people wept that night. They're scared. All the Israelites railed against Moses and Aaron. Kol b'nei Yisrael. Kol ha'edalu. And the whole community shouted, railed against Moses and Aaron. If only we had died in the land of Egypt. We've heard this one before. This is one of the old chestnuts of the Israelites. The whole community shouted at them, or if only we might die in this wilderness. They'd rather die in the wilderness
So they did.
than fight. Spoilers! Okay, yeah. Absolutely. They do, yes.
But remember back when they left Egypt, up until this point, I could be wrong here, I don't think there was any implication of resistance or military action. It was just, I promise you a land of milk and honey, so start walking. And now we've got a whole different generation at this point, I think, at least for the most part.
Not yet. Yeah.
All right,
They're still the first generation that comes out of Egypt.
Is
Yeah.
the promise and the invitation, up until now, didn't include any kind of resistance. You're just gonna walk in there and everything's gonna be great. Well, no.
Oh.
There's people there that have been there.
There-
They may not want more people.
Right. I would say there's definitely resistance even before they cross the Red Sea. There's fear. But there.
There was no, I don't think there was any implication of any kind of military.
No, right. I mean, and suddenly this little expedition of going complicates everything.
Right.
It complicates everything because now they know what they didn't know. Yeah. Go ahead, Lou.
I would say that this is in agreement with their personality, after all, they needed 10 plagues in order to encourage them to leave Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no 10 plagues going on over here to take the next step. So, their track record is that they've been reluctant, they need a lot of encouragement to do anything.
Right.
So, it's not surprising that they're saying, well, we don't want, we're not signing on to this here,
Yeah.
because that's the way they are. I mean, it's like,
Uh-huh.
we're not doing, we're not adventurous. We're not adventurous, so we
No.
have to be pushed,
Yeah.
you know.
And God like needs to prove that God is powerful. That God can do something that they can't see. And they are not willing to suspend their rational selves to get there. And God's journey, a lot of this is proving God's self to Pharaoh, to the people, right? It's for lack of a better term, it's a bit of a inferiority complex or need to be kind of need to be recognized as this great power.
And I would also say probably, with the story about David and Goliath, David suffered, the storytellers of David and Goliath probably suffered from the same
Sure.
situation. Goliath was a
Sure.
enormous person,
Yeah.
and,
Absolutely. And
makes David's accomplishment that much better.
And this story kind of goes back to state of Israel and how it was created and, the same kind of thing, David and Goliath moment. Yeah. Did you want to say something? Yeah, go.
Yeah, I guess what Lou was talking about, like God has to show his power, it kind of reminds me of one of those Jacob stories where when Jacob was fleeing to Haran, he said to God, if you protect me and make me wealthy, I will worship you and you will be my God. And I think Jacob is really telling God that at some point, if you want people to follow, you need to show us
Who you are.
who you are and
Yeah,
that you really
what you can do.
protect us.
Right, right.
And that almost goes back to what we talked about earlier. Like God is coming to understand, or the people are helping God to understand that if you want if you want people to follow you, at some point along the time, you need to manifest your power and show us that you'll do what you will.
Yeah, it's a kind of game of chicken between the people and God, right? God's like, I want to see you show your trust in me. And they're like, no, I want to see your power that I believe that you're going to protect us.
Right, and you need both.
You need both.
And sometimes, like in the Jacob story, the people are saying to God, you have to step forward first
Yeah,
and show us your power first, and then we will follow you.
right. Yeah, this is easier said than done sometimes. Look at the little note on the middle of page 4. Not only do the spies transform into a unified group with a nearby singular identity, right? They even seem to break away from Caleb and Joshua. Now it's the whole community. Even those two dissenters, they've kind of like glommed into the whole community. But from the moment they return, Israel is also described as one community. They are no longer separate tribes, but rather a unified group with a single voice. The argument between the two sides it's okay. The argument between the two sides reaches a turning point. The dispute is no longer over the land, its qualities and the abilities of the community of Israel to conquer it. Rather, the discussion is over God's power to bring the people safely into the land. So we've switched now from, is it a place that we can conquer, to, is it a place that really we trust in God to help us conquer. All right. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces. Do you know that is it's kind of an idiom. Do you know what it means? Vayipol al panav. They fell on their faces. What do you think they did? Did they trip? They go into prayer. They prostrate themselves. And before all of the assembled congregation of Israelites. Now they are one community. At once they were individuals. And Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, of those who had scouted the land, rent their clothes, right? Kriya ribbon is the modern manifestation of that, and exhorted the whole Israelite community. The land that we traversed and scouted is an exceedingly good land. If pleased with us, God will bring us into that land, a land that flows with milk and honey, and give it to us. Only you must not rebel against God. Have no fear, then, of the people of the country, for they are our prey. Their protection has departed from them, but God is with us. Have no fear. Doesn't seem like that bunch of rhetoric made any difference. As the whole community threatened to pelt them with stones, the presence of God in the tent of meeting, presence of God appeared to the tent of meeting to all the Israelites. So now God intervenes. God's like, okay, you guys, I left you alone. I tried to help you work this out, let you work this out on your own, but no. So we go to page 5. And God said to Moses, how long will this people spurn me? And how long will they have no faith in me, despite all the signs that I have performed in their midst? I will strike them with pestilence and disown them. And I will make of you a nation far more numerous than they. But Moses said to, okay, so I'm going to stop there. What do you see so far? Sonny.
I think that when God says, like, how long will they have no faith in me? I think that it wasn't they had no faith at first. It was the people thought that their faith in God meant they were just going to walk for a couple days and end up in the land of milk and honey.
Yes.
And now that they've sent some scouts and seen these challenges in the way, now they feel like, okay, they were justified in that decision. They got kind of questioned, and they're like, no, that was actually right. Not realizing that faith in God actually means that despite all of the challenges in the way, you will still make it to the land of honey.
Yes.
Milk and honey.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, you have to suspend your own sense of safety and believe in God will be safe, give you safety. What else is in here? I want you to look at 12, verse 12, 14:12. What else do you see?
If you leave the podium, then the people.
I know. Thank you for you are a shaliach for the people on the stream. Thank you. Okay. So, what do you see? 14:12. What is God saying to Moses?
He's saying he's going to punish the people.
I'm going to punish the people. First phrase. Second phrase. What does God say?
I'm giving up on you guys. I'm disowning you. You're done. I'm done with you.
To you guys, right? But who is God pledging allegiance to? Moses, come with me. We're gonna figure something out. This party's over. Let's make our own party. Let's find our own people. Amazing, right? I mean, this is something we often overlook in looking at the text. This is a moment where God is saying, hey, bud, I see a lot of promise in you. This is the beginning, of a beautiful friendship. Right? I mean, Moses has an opportunity here to walk right out into the sunset with the blessed be God, blessed be Holy One, blessed be God. And what does Moses say in 13? Moses says to God, when the Egyptians from whose midst you brought up this people in your might hear the news, 14, they will tell it to the inhabitants of the land. Now they have heard that you, O Eternal One, are in the midst of this people, that you, O Eternal One, appear in plain sight when your cloud rests over them, and when you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. What is Moses' agenda here? Stick to the plan, right, Sue? I am an emissary, Moses thinks. I am a shaliach for these people. I am not only here for myself. I am here for a greater purpose. God, here, come, bring it back. Okay, get off the ledge. I'm going to talk you down. Okay? And how does Moses try to appeal to God? What is he doing? What is he saying to God to help sort of talk him down off the ledge? Viv?
How's he going to look to the Goyim?
I mean, dude, you're going to get a reputation. I mean, you did all of this work here, and yeah. I mean, they're going to hear the news. You don't want this to appear in the National Enquirer. I mean, this could look really bad. This is a bad piece of press for you, God. Yeah, it's a bad look. Yeah. Crisis intervention. We need somebody. Yeah.
It's sort of interesting. You have these phrases like be a light unto the nations and this sort of thing. And this phrase, this passage and light unto the nations suggests that the Jewish community doesn't operate in a vacuum. In other words, its own internal mission has some sort of connection to having an impression on the rest of the world. And that if what we do is immoral or wrong, we violated, the world will see that our purpose is flawed.
Right.
And so if we're going to achieve our purpose, we have to, a measure will the other nations see us as good?
Yeah, it reminds me.
That's part of our internal purpose.
Arthur, this is the sacred burden we all carry as Jews, right? So, did you ever? Some of you grow up with Yiddish. Did you ever get your mom or your dad or your grandparents say it's a shanda for the goyim? What does it mean? It's a shame. Bernie Madoff. Harvey Weinstein, right? We don't necessarily know these people, but they reflect poorly on who we are.
But it's not just what will the neighbors say. It's we can't fulfill a higher purpose. We won't know we fulfilled a higher purpose unless people outside our community admire what we've done. That's the test.
This is an existential struggle for Jews all the time, right? And this is what we're going through right now. There are these camps, speaking of what's happening in Israel, right? There are these camps. Some camps are saying we need to ratchet up our pride in who we are as Jews. And you know what? We are Jews. We should be Jews of subject, not Jews of object. We should not let other people define who we are. Jewish identity is something that we can create for ourselves. We can't keep listening to the noise. Other camp, right? Are these the values that we want the world to view us embodying? Is this who we are? I'm not in the Israeli government, but I'm just a plain old diaspora Jew. But boy, do I feel a sense of, burden and gravity of who I am. This is what's going on in the world today. So it's this appeal to God is at so many levels. It's like, what will the world think? And then there's another feeling, again, of like Moses saying, I'm a shaliach, I'm an emissary. This is what you're saying too, right? Like we are all emissaries for the people of Israel, right? We are all emissaries. What we do matters. How we comport ourselves in the world matters. And how people see ourselves as matters. But more importantly, our integrity as Jews matters. So, all right, we can go down that road, but, try to stay with the Torah. All right. So, I wanted to look at this whole piece of atah, okay? So, and again, the Hebrew is really fascinating to me on Numbers. I just put the Numbers 14 here. I'm going to read it in Hebrew just so you can hear the atah. Listen for the 3 atahs. You know what atah means? You. Baruch atah Adonai, right? Blessed are you, God. Atah. It's simple, atah, for female identifying gender, at. But we usually, we use atah, we use the male formulation in Hebrew, most often, traditionally, conventionally. Yeah?
So is atah singular?
Yes, it's second person. Correct, second person singular. So, ve'amru el Yoshev haaretz hazot. Sham'u ki ata Adonai bekerev ha'am hazeh. Asher ayin be'ayin nir'a ata Adonai. Va'anancha omed alehem va'amud anan ata holech lifnehem. Yomam va'amud ish laila. I'll read it again. Now they have heard you, Eternal One, are in the midst of the people, that you, Eternal One, appear in plain sight. You go before them in a pillar of cloud by day. The rabbis look at this you. Rav says, we're now in the middle of page 5, one needs to say you in the blessing formula. Baruch atah Adonai. But Shmuel says, typical rabbinic debate, one does not need to say you. You could just say, Baruch Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai or Baruch Adonai. By the way, until I was preparing for this, never thought of it. Never thought of atah. Jewish liturgist Joseph Heinemann points out, through more than a dozen examples, that the standard way that Baruch in the Bible is or appears, people say Baruch in the Bible is when they're talking about God, not when talking to God. Baruch Adonai is about God. Baruch atah Adonai is to God. Rabbi Eli Kanfer says, when we speak to God in prayer, we are indicating our closeness to God. It is as if we are standing face to face, connecting directly. In my own prayer life, Rabbi Kanfer says, when I say the word atah, I feel privileged that our prayers are orienting me to a direct address of God. The word you feels intimate to me. Baruch atah Adonai. And I even linger on the word sometimes. Atah. Atah. Concentrating on the experience of reaching out directly to God. So, Moses 3 times in one verse says atah. If we're following this line of thought, what is Moses trying to do here? What is Moses trying to convey to God by saying, they have heard that you are in the midst of the people. You, Atah, appear in plain sight. You go before them in a pillar of cloud. What is Moses trying to communicate to God? It's an amazing moment. It's a very human moment.
He has a responsibility to people.
Oh, wow. It's like a directive, right? It's like, I'm not talking to anybody else. This is you. You are the one. It's like a coaching up. Good. Anybody else? Let's keep, I want to hear more. Yeah.
Leadership.
Sorry? Leadership. This is what you do. Atah. Nobody else. There's no other gods. Good. What else? Sonia.
Blame.
Oh, you. This is all about you. You hold a greater responsibility. Moses, what if I go on a limb here? What if it, in addition to all of that real talk, what if Moses is secretly an empath? An empath. You, God, are showing me that you don't think you matter. You don't think you matter, right? Because you're going to throw the pestilence around, and you're going to do that, right? You're going to, just wantonly. But I see you. I see you. I don't just see the great, big, God, omnipresent thing in the sky. But we know each other. We go back. I remember when we first met at the burning bush. It was so sweet. It was like such a special moment. We met at the burning bush, and then remember when the golden calf, and we went up. I went up to the mountain, and we had that intimacy. Remember when you said, "I'll show you my back," right? Show you a piece. Like, we have a relationship, God. Like, I can say you because I know you. It's not just about intimidation. This is on my limb. This is maybe the very homiletic here. Sue.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's an I and thou kind of thing.
I thou moment,
Yeah.
Buberian moment of maybe we're finding the holy with each other in this moment. You, Atah, Atah, Atah. Carol.
He's also being very honest and saying, yeah, I know you're disappointed, and I know you're willing to throw the whole thing away.
Right.
But let me give it back to you.
Huh.
We're more than friends. I trust you, and
Yeah.
you've trusted me.
Uh-huh.
And let me tell you what it's going to look like.
Yeah. Right. We've built something here together. Right.
It's a loving relationship.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
they have, and it's a respect that they have for each other.
Yeah. It's really fascinating that Joshua and Caleb go to the land. They don't have the relationship with God yet in the way that Moses does, but they already believe. But Moses is this emissary. He's the shaliach. He's the one who's carrying the message to the people, carrying the message to God. Right? He's in between. He's carrying a tremendous load of trying to represent God to the people and the people to God. Arthur.
So someone used the word blame. If you finish the passage, basically it says, if you reduce everything to ashes out of the smoldering heap, the world will say, God, you failed. You are a grasshopper. You are small. You can't pull it off. And so this you is, you will be holding the ashes.
Yeah.
And the world will say,
Right.
well, there's really not much you can do.
Let's play this out.
So that's
Right.
From that reading, it's less of an act of intimacy and more back. I don't know if that's the sense of blame you were suggesting, Sonia, but it's the argument that God would be blameworthy if he pursues his path.
Yeah.
diminished.
Yes, yes.
And then again, God's greatness seems dependent on what the other nations think. Because if the other nations come to the conclusion, this ain't much of a God, there's no comeback in this passage for God to say, what are you talking about? I'm not diminished.
Yeah.
People say this about me.
There's no way back. You know, like this like put the note in the drawer. Right? You know, just it's again, just like pulling out human beings writing this text about a relationship between Moses and God. They are creating this narrative. It's quite right. What does it say about the people who are creating the narrative? They live in a world of fear, right? They live in a world where they don't know why things are happening, why people are dying of pestilence. They know the pain of the world, but they can't understand it. And they're trying to appeal to this greater entity to understand. Help us. I want to help you understand us, because we don't understand you and we don't understand the world. I'm trying to make something, the author says, I'm trying to make some sense of the world. David.
I see this story a bit differently in that I don't think Moses is actually persuading God. You may think he is, but I think the whole point from God's point of view is Moses has been leading the people for what, about 2 years now? And he's going to have to lead them for another 38. And he doesn't know that. and
God needs Moses.
God wants Moses to step up to leadership, to commit himself. And so what he's done is he's created a situation where Moses has taken responsibility.
It's a test.
Yes, it's a test of Moses. That's what I think this was. I mean, first it was a test of the people, but I think God knew, and here I slightly disagree with Ivan. It wasn't that God didn't understand the people, it's that he understood them too well, that they were not going to be able to go into the promised land after those first 2 years. They just were not prepared for the responsibility. And so
Yeah.
God created a situation where it was going to become necessary for the people to stay in the wilderness for another 38 years.
It was all part of the plan.
And it's part of the plan, that's right.
Right.
Right, God knew the plan.
I got it. I got it.
And now God is making sure that Moses has taken responsibility for the 38 years that he doesn't yet know.
A level of coercion. Yeah. It's fascinating, right? Like, I'm taking a little humanist view, but I'm hearing also like, hey, God knows what God's doing. Okay, like there's a plan here. I love it. It's good, Sue.
It's kind of like a conversation between Tavia and God.
Between?
Tavia.
Oh, Tevye. Okay, yeah, from Fiddler. Yeah, which one? Where Tevye is like asking,
What's happening?
why is this? Yeah,
Why is this happening?
yeah. And yet Tevye moves ahead, moves forward. God said, I have a plan. Yeah. Look at this top of page 6. By the way, just getting back to the atah, because I was clearly I was compelled by it. Look at this from Genesis. Hagar. Remember what happens? She's thrown out into the desert with her child, and she calls out to God, and she says, Atah el roi. Okay? El roi. You are God. You are the one who sees. Have I not gone unseeing after my being seen? You see me. That the atah kind of connotes, right, sense of you see me, I see you. And again, this my little limb, out on a limb, is that Moses sees God in a way that we all wish God could see us, which is the real us, the relationship. So I never seen that before in Hagar. I never picked it up in this Hagar story, as she uses ata. All right, there's it's a very personal connection. Okay, let's go to bottom of page 6. So Moses says, "Pardon, I pray, the iniquity of this people according to your great kindness, as you have forgiven this people ever since Egypt." And God said, "I pardon as you ask." God capitulates, all right? Or God just says, "You're playing along my game that I have already planned out for you. Thank you, Moses. I lead a horse to water. And look, you just drank because you're helping to hold the people together. I'm testing your leadership. You are stepping up. So I pardon." We have a pardoning God. Okay? We have a angry God. We have a punishing God. And yet we have also a forgiving God. This is highlighted most during the High Holy Days. We have a God of forgiveness. Now, this is a journey for God to be a forgiving God. We don't see it. It's an evolution of God, understanding that the people are not behaving the way God would love and like. Look at Rabbi Yitz Greenberg. Just talks about the relationship, by the way, with Moses and God. On the night of the confrontation of the spies' mission, Moses goes through the same drill as the golden calf. He again makes clear that he will never abandon the people, not even to get an assured place in God's plan for the future. He again argues that God's representative in the world is bound up with his people. He appeals to God's covenantal self-description and asks the deity to hold steadfastly with the covenant and with the people. He continues to educate the people to grow up and to act responsibly, even as he continues to wrestle with God, to stay with the covenant, move forward with the people. A little like ode to Moses. Again, holding that role of shaliach, of this messenger. Nevertheless, as I live, we are on page 7. As I live and as God's presence fills the world, none of those involved who have seen my presence and the signs that I have performed in Egypt and the wilderness, who have tried me these many times and have disobeyed me, none of them shall see the land that I promised, an oath to their fathers. None of those who spurn me shall see it. Here we are. You are a generation that will not go into the land of Israel. So, I pardon as you have asked, but there's a punishment at the same time. Reactions, yeah.
I have to disagree to some extent.
Please.
I do not think that this is a test for Moses. I think that basically what's happening here is a continuation of behavior by the people that is offensive to God. The people have not been able to see the greatness of God, and God is put it fed up. He feels that it's necessary to punish the people for their
Yeah.
behavior and their lack of appreciation. It's straightforward.
Yeah, there's a price to pay. I can't just forgive you without some kind of price. Larry, did you have your hand up?
Well, I was just gonna say, well, how do you balance pardon and punishment? It's just, and it's using me for advice a little bit.
Right. Pardon, how do you balance pardon and punishment?
Because if the punishment is so severe, you've got nothing left.
Say that.
You can be pardoned, but you can still be punished. Your sentence may be commuted, but you still have a punishment.
Yeah, I mean, but wait a minute. But if you have a punishment, then you're not pardoned. This is what Larry's asking. Right? Right? How do you, what doesn't pardon mean?
Be partial on both sides.
Why do you need the punishment if you have the pardon? What does the punishment do?
The pardon is sort of an understanding of why and how, but you are still punished because you shouldn't have done that.
You have to live with your actions. Yeah, we broke the first set of tablets. Second set of tablets I've given you, but the first set of tablets you're going to carry with you in the ark as a reminder. That's kind of the eternal punishment. Just a reminder of the brokenness and the pact that you made with me. I also made you drink from the golden calf's, molten remains. Yeah, Sonia.
You could also think of this as pardoning them because he's not just gonna kill them off right now and disown them and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can keep going. Your children will see the land of milk and honey, but you yourself is not actually gonna get there. You can continue on, and you as a people will get there. I'm not just gonna kill you right now, but you who didn't believe in me as an individual aren't gonna make it. Maybe your children or your grandchildren.
Yeah. This is going to be a lasting. You'll remember this one. This is bad. Yeah.
But also along with that, if the punishment is so severe, that's the end of the whole project.
Yeah. Right. So you have to be a little.
Got nothing left, that's it.
Well, this was what I think Arthur was saying. If it's just ashes, you're done. So you have to sort of weigh those. But look what happens here at the end in Numbers. If you unwittingly fail to observe any of the commandments that God has declared to Moses, anything that God has enjoined upon you through Moses, from the day that God gave the commandment and on through the ages, this is the law. If this was done unwittingly, through the inadvertence of the community, the whole community shall present one bull of the herd as a burnt offering, and so on. The priest shall make expiation for the whole Israelite community, and they shall be forgiven, for it was an error. And for their error they have brought their offering, an offering by fire to God. The whole Israelite community and the stranger residing among them shall be forgiven, for it happened to the entire people through error. What is this trying to teach? We suddenly have a bunch of laws. Bless you. We suddenly have a bunch of laws. What is this trying to teach? You can offer up a bull, you can offer up this, you can offer up that. What does it teach about pardon and forgiveness? Larry.
Maybe the people have to do something to, either gratitude for the pardon or do something, getting that pardon.
Yeah.
Do the offering.
There's like something that they can do. It's almost like God has sort of like traveled a path of understanding that this is more than just those who sin and those who don't. I mean, this is kind of an interesting understanding. It's a shift because now perhaps there's a kind of a God-like understanding that people are truly flawed. And they're going to make these mistakes. Lorenda.
The breaking of the laws is inevitable.
Yes,
So here's
exactly.
what to do if that happens.
That's a huge part. Like, if I were God's therapist, I would say, God, you've come a long way. I mean, it's like, think about this. Remember 5 years ago, you could have never said that? God, I just want to take this moment and recognize how far you've come. Remember how you would react and kill everybody? And now, God, you're just...
Now you can fix it.
Yeah, now, listen to this. You're just evolved. My work is done, God. Okay. So, things are going to happen. People are going to err. And we have to figure out a system to grant people expiation. We have to figure out a system because plan A is perfection. Remember, God, what happened with the flood? You thought you'd wipe everybody out and we'd start out from scratch and we'd build a better people. How did that go? How did that work for you, God? Very shortly after Noah, the drunkenness episode. I mean, it just goes on and on. Every ancestor is erring this way and that way. How did that go for you, God? And you made them drink from the molten calf, and you killed all those people. How did that go? Right? Because they still complained. And then they went out to the land and they didn't believe. How is this working for you, God? Right? So we built a system of forgiveness that people are people. You said it perfectly, Lorenda. It's inevitable. People are going to err. So what do? We create a system where people can find their way out. They can admit their failures. They can do something. In this day, it was giving up the bull, sacrificing the bull. And today, it's different, right? Go ahead, Jordan.
This is unwittingly.
Unwittingly.
It doesn't talk about doing a sin that wasn't unwitting. And the thought that people are going to err includes doing it purposefully.
So I guess it begs the question. The scouts who complained, I don't think they were trying to wittingly thwart God.
Spread calumnies.
They spread the slander, right? Perhaps, yeah. But listen, look what we have with Rabbinic Judaism today. Is we have wittingly, unwittingly. Kol nidre is about the vows that we make, sometimes wittingly, sometimes unwittingly, that we have to ask for forgiveness for. So you're right, and yet we have really developed, Judaism has evolved from a very harsh cultic system of fire and brimstone, of punishment and reward, to a place where we're very human. The rabbis understood human nature. We created a whole system, right? So if somebody wrongs me or I wrong them, we have chances to ask for forgiveness of each other. And it's not like you're dead to me. I know we do it. Humans do it, right? You're canceled. You're dead to me. But the idea is maybe God, through the human writing, has arrived at a place to understand that it can't just be like these high hoops that everybody has to jump through. Rabbi Hochstein says at the end, just as after the flood, God promises not to bring another flood upon the earth, the laws that immediately follow the story of the spies represent a shift in the relationship between God and the community of Israel. First, the Parsha ends with a series of laws that begin with the phrase, "When you come into the land where you shall dwell," a kind of promise that God's anger and punishment are ephemeral. There will indeed be a generation of Israel that will see the land. Right? God didn't kill us all off. There was going to be another chance. And another element. Another law opens up a future pathway for grappling with communal sin, an alternative to wiping out an entire generation. We sin. We fail. And maybe God is very much representative of those of us who don't have patience for people who sin and fail. And we hold people to standards, which we should. But we also need to allow people a way out, a program, a curriculum to improve themselves and to get better. That's what we're all trying to do, get better. Shabbat shalom. See you, everybody. All right, don't forget to sign up for the bagels.
We're set.
You're set. Okay, awesome.
Really good discussion this morning. David, man.
David,
Yeah,
Susie,
yeah.
David,
Yeah.
of course.
You know, one association that I had, and it probably comes because my dad worked at NASA, was this recent Artemis as I read this portion, and I couldn't help but remember one of the things that the astronaut Jeremy Hansen said as they're leaving the backside of the moon, which humans had never seen before. And as he's leaving it, he says, you know, I'm in the depths of the universe, and I felt infinitesimally small. But I looked out at planet Earth, and I saw planet Earth, and they gave me this sense of power and control to go on this mission. And I felt so good and complete. And it just reminded me of the journey. Exactly.
Yeah, that you're doing something for a very bigger purpose.
Much bigger. And so
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly the same.
Yeah, definitely.
How's Susie?
You know, we're bumping along. Susie's mom's, and we go out to LA. But, you know, we are so blessed. We just have a new grandson. Our children and grandkids live out in Portland. And so we spend a bit more time out there. It's
in Oregon? Or?
In Portland, yeah. We got a little place out there. And so, you know, it's really joyful to be seeing these 3 and 16-week-old kids. You know, it really is. It's a special moment because we know when they're about 12 or 13, they're
they're not going to want to spend as much time.
Yeah.
Say hi to Susie.
Will do.
Hey.
J Street and APEC.
Yeah.
We forgot to thank Judge Friedman for the bagels this morning.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Judge Friedman. If you're still hearing.
This
I was planning on coming, the cost, yeah, as they say, cost day, Monday. Yeah. I think it's gonna change it. Oh, yeah, but who knows what's gonna happen? There's gonna be bagels that, yeah, well, next
that's a failure on my part.
This is the only chance I'm gonna have.
Yeah.
You know, what's the worst that's gonna do?
And someone needs to take responsibility for all of this. Their employees. And I remember that when I was on the board of the grocery list, which I thought was kind of cool. I said, when it's all said and done,
Yeah, and there's gonna be food, I don't, unless, yeah, I think the service is outside, looks like there's chairs.
enough for outside.
Looks like there's,
Outside, Judah.
yeah, oh, you got, are you, oh, look, and I think, oh, wow. Okay, I don't, are they, whoop, yeah, it's okay, it happened before, but, 10, 15.
Yeah, you can go out there, buddy.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure everybody else is, but.
Well, we'll take it. Wherever they are. This is great. Thank God for summer.
I know, right?
Oh.
Hi. Hi, you know what time it starts? 11:30.
Yeah, so the service starts at 11 and then the work games start at 11.
Hi, Shira.
You know, I got the inside track on this stuff.
Services are 11. And is it here?
Had another obligation. Yeah, there was no reason except for that. Yeah, unfortunately.